Coming to you live from the top secret broadcasting bunker here at Area 52. We're broadcasting today from the Cydonia region of the planet Mars. This is past, you know where the face is? I don't know about you, but I think the face on Mars actually looks like me, okay? Just saying. Anyway, good to be with you today. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. And we had a good church service Sunday morning. I hope you all tuned in and we had a wonderful... Oh, by the way, I've got a new sponsor today. We are proud to be endorsing Domino's Pizza of the Netherlands that has a 666 deal. Only in the Netherlands can you get the pizza of the beast. So if you want to eat like a beast... enjoy the 666 deal at your local neighborhood Nederland Domino's Pizza. Just thought I'd... And you know I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding. And you know, I have to say that. I have to say, I'm just joking, because there's always going to be somebody out there that's going, see, I knew he was in the Illuminati. I knew it. He's advertising that. Good to be with you today. I've got a bunch of stuff. We can't get away from Barack Obama this week. We dealt last Thursday with his apparent change of heart. And it's not true. He didn't change his heart. His heart's been that way all of his life. He's been a Marxist, a socialist, a communist, a liberal. And he has championed every cause, every liberal cause in his life, and now he's championing the sodomite marriage, and we're going to deal with that because apparently Barack H. has now become a god, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I pulled up some interesting articles that some people have been sending me the last few days. Here is one from NJ.com. Apparently that's New Jersey. State exam asked New Jersey third graders to write essay on secret they had kept. A lot of you who are in the homeschool movement or things like that, or Christian school, we used to have a Christian school here, and I used to be right on top of this stuff. Years ago, I began to do some research on just the globalism and the humanism and everything else that was moving into the teaching of the public schools. Teaching the Earth Day. Children are having Earth Day. Let's worship the Earth and let's take care of our little planet and things like that. And now we have this. The article says, is it okay to ask a child to reveal a secret? Richard Goldberg doesn't think so. Goldberg, the father of 8-year-old twin boys, was dismayed to learn his third-grade sons were asked to write an essay about a secret they had and why it was hard to keep. The unusual question, which Goldberg called entirely inappropriate, was on the standardized test given to public school students in the 3rd through 8th grade every spring. Now, we're not just talking about the school counselor sitting down with them and saying, now, we know you're keeping a secret. We know your mom and dad beat you and abuse you and molest you. We know that happens. We want you to spill the beans. By the way, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but that actually takes place. There are people that have told me that when they go, adults, when they go in for some sort of counseling or something like that, the therapist is always trying to get them to admit that their mom and daddy abused them, or their dad was a molester, or this and that and the other. They're always trying to get them to admit that, even if it's not true. There are some people out there who have the idea that every problem in life goes back to your evil mom and dad who's always looked mean at you and burnt you with cigarettes and whipped you with cords and things like that. And I understand stuff like that happens. I really do. Lisa and I used to be a long time ago. We dealt a little bit with foster care, and I can tell you there's some nasty people out there, and they ought to have their kids taken away, but that's not everybody. But anyway, this is not the social worker at school or the school counselor asking this. This is actually, according to this article, is on the standardized test. You know what that is. That's where you take the number 2 lead pencil. I don't have one. And you have to pick the right answer, okay? And you have to fill in the oval with your number 2 lead pencil like that, okay? That's the standardized testing. Want to know how well they can read, how well they can do math, how much history they know, how much social study and geography they know, whether they can read a short story and gain something out of it and talk about it. And then, oh, by the way, we know there's something going on at your house that we, the government, wants to know about, and we want you to spill the beans. It's on the standardized test. He said he first learned about the essay when he questioned his sons about the difficulty of the annual test, which they had been preparing for at their Marlboro Elementary School. Well, that's their problem. They go to a tobacco company school, Marlboro. I'm just kidding. They both looked at me and said, the secrets question was really hard, Goldberg said. I told them, wow, that's a difficult question. But in my head, I was thinking, how did this outrageous question get on the test in the first place? Roughly 4,000 students in 15 districts across the state answered the question, which Department of Education spokesman Justin Barra said was being field tested during this year's administration of the New Jersey Assessment of Knowledge and Skills. The question will not, however, appear on any future versions of the test, Barra said. Not on that test. I guarantee you they're not going to back down. The article says, we looked at this question in light of concerns raised by parents, and it is clear that this is not an appropriate question for a state test. What, you had to have parents tell you that it wasn't appropriate? You actually had to have somebody call you and say, what are you doing? You have no right to know everything that goes on in my house. As long as it's not illegal, you don't have a right to know about it. And he had to have somebody tell him that that was inappropriate. You know, I just didn't know. This is kind of a gray area for me. That's New Jersey, and then I found out New York, which is right next to New Jersey, in case you didn't know, the case you didn't do well on the standardized test. New York, apparently, it is okay in the eyes of the justice system of the state of New York. Apparently, it's not a crime to look at child pornography in the state of New York on your computer. A case came up. I don't know. I can't remember the details of it. But anyway, the judge ruled that whoever was doing this, looking at child porn on the internet on their computer, the judge basically said, well, that's all he was doing. What's wrong with you people? It's a sicko world we live in, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the depth of what's wrong in our country. And then we have the righteous, reverend, and most holy divine Jesse Jackson. You know him. Standing next to Martin Luther King when he got shot. The righteous, reverend, and most holy divine Jesse Jackson calls on pastors to support Obama's backing of gay marriage. The right reverend and most holy righteous divine Jesse Jackson has joined the most holy right reverend and righteous divine Al Sharpton in supporting President Obama's call for support behind gay marriage. Jackson even went so far as to compare the gay marriage issue to the fight against slavery and laws that kept blacks from marrying whites. This is a bold step in the right direction for equal protection under the law for all citizens, Jackson told the Los Angeles Times. Jackson then called for black preachers to address the issue with their congregations on Sunday. He mentioned that gays and lesbians are fighting for the country and teaching America's children. This is what we want. He even said that they were leading congregations within many black churches. Oh, really? He urged Americans to remember that gay marriage isn't taking rights from anybody else, but rather opening the door for everyone to have the same opportunities. You may choose your mate, but you cannot deny someone else the right to choose their mate, Jackson said. The law protects you from being abused. It doesn't threaten your lifestyle for someone else to have the right to exhibit their lifestyle, he later added. Al Sharpton's statements were in lockstep with those of the righteous, right, holy, divine Reverend Jackson. I salute President Obama's statement today supporting same-sex marriage, said the righteous, most holy, divine, sacred Al Sharpton in a statement that went on to add, this is not about mine or anyone else's personal religious views. Yes, it is the most righteous, divine, most holy Al Sharpton, because you don't have any religious views. That's your problem. He said, is it about equal rights for all? We cannot be selective with civil rights. We must support civil rights for everybody, or we don't support them for anyone. And that is from the mouths. And you know what? Somebody, and I was going to let it go. Somebody sent me an email a couple months ago. Well, it was after this whole Trayvon Martin thing broke loose. And I had mentioned, just sort of off the cuff in a Sunday morning service, that there was a call to go after white people on this thing. And I said something about Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton leading the charge. And this person wrote me an email, and they first began the email by telling me how much money they had donated to our ministry. I want to say this. I appreciate, I really do. I appreciate what people do, what people give. I don't want you to think that I have a rotten, nasty attitude about it. But please, and I've had two people do this to me. This was one of them. She told me and reminded me how much she had donated. And then I'm just going to say this. When I did the very, very, very first Watchman video broadcast, I already had a camera, already had a green wall, already had a little desk, and already had an internet account, and Jazz was already running the Hog blog, and we were able to put videos on it. And I went, you know what? I can do this for nothing, okay? And so we started doing it, and the concept was that I wasn't going to get on there and beat you up every week over money so you could send me money, because we need your help. God wants you to partner with us. I like that word partner that they always put in there. I had it in my mind that I wasn't going to let anybody's donation determine what I said or what I didn't say. I had that idea back in 2009, and in 2012 that idea is still valid. And again, I absolutely appreciate the help that